All right. Good afternoon, Pamela. My name is Lawrence Lee. Very happy that you have taken the time to attend this interview. So welcome, and hope everything goes well with this interview. Before we start, is there any question you'd like to ask me?
No.
All right. Great. So basically, what we will do is, first of all, I'll just familiarize you with the job. The job is HR administrator. I believe you have the job description already.
Yes.
Yeah, and there are a few things about this job which is quite important to highlight. It is an administrative role. You will be reporting to HR officers. One of the things that you are required to do is to calculate voluntary severance, childcare and back payments of pay and allowances. So your knowledge of payroll must be there. And then you also need to produce the annual staff training directory and also administer the budget, the staff training and development budget. So these are all things that you will have to be able to do. Then you also have to look into tendering, contract development, and review of external training provision. The other area is HR system, which you need to be familiar with. I saw in your resume that that's one of your technical expertise that you have put in your resume, so we'll talk about it later. You also there'll be a fair bit of work on HR projects. So you need to be familiar with project work, which later you can elaborate if you are familiar with it. And there's also recruitment you have to do. And then there's pay. There's also you have to be familiar with pay and grading system. And the other thing is you have to be doing some statistical reports. So I'm not sure whether you have done statistic reports in the HR system. And then you have temporary. There's some temporary staff that you need to manage within the office. There's also a staff committee and staff negotiating committee. And you have to take minutes there. And you also be involved in disciplinary and harassment procedures and some health screening. So basically, those are the highlights of the job. So maybe I pause for a while, and you like to share any things after I describe to you the job?
Oh yes, absolutely. You mentioned about the statistics, report via the HRIS system. This is something probably new, and I'd like to understand what kind of system that we are using at the moment that can assist in such report.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry again, your question, please. Just now I was looking at something.
Okay, the statistic report via HRIS system.
Yes.
I'd like to know what kind of system that we are using that can
Yes.
help with the report.
All right. We're using PeopleSoft. Are you familiar with PeopleSoft?
Sort of touch on it, yeah, but more into Timesoft than PeopleSoft.
Okay. So so just to let you know before we move further, the time available for today's interview is 15 minutes. So we will finish at 4:30. But then we will schedule another interview on the 15th of August to complete the interview. But due to scheduling issues, today we only have 15 minutes. But then we will do the second part of the interview on the 15th of August, just to let you know about that. Yeah. So let's start with the interview now. Now that I described to you the job and also told you about the time available. Tell me about, I saw your resume, you work in XYZ company, and then you're currently in ABC company. So tell me a bit about what you do in XYZ and what you do in ABC.
Okay, basically I've been the HR administrator for these two companies. Managing the day-to-day operations and all the HR functions. The core responsibility is recruitment, payroll, employee engagement, and employee relations. So these are, I report into a manager in the sense that she and me will work on the same project. And for example, recently we have to launch the new our HRIS system, so we work together to pull it through. Currently, we also work on another implementations of the talent tracking system called JobVibes. And again, we work as a team to pull different stakeholders together to get a focus group and understand what kind of design process is required for the system.
Okay, great. All right. And you put in your resume that you studied in the MMM School of Academics. Well, can you talk a bit about the course?
Basically,
it's a degree
yes,
or post?
It's actually a diploma for HRM, and what do you call it? It covers all the modules required to be a HR practitioner, mainly on the business law, employment law, but it's more skewed towards for Singapore.
Okay.
And not global, not in relations to other countries, for example.
Right. Yeah, that is fine. And then I was going to ask you what exposure you have to HRIS. So you mentioned that you are familiar with PeopleSoft. How familiar are you with PeopleSoft?
PeopleSoft, I have touched on it briefly, but I am more familiar with TimeSoft. But I believe that the cost system is almost similar, and as long as I'm given a little bit of time, I'm sure that I can pick it up very quickly.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the rest of the interview now, we have about 8 minutes. I actually wanted to cover 4 competencies with you. One is customer focus, one is productivity, one is quality, and one is results focus. So I don't think we can cover that much. We will leave some of it for the second half when we do the next interview on August 15. But I think what I do is I will just give you, first of all, just help you to understand the competencies, and then after that we go through them. And then if we can't do 4 today, then we just do whatever we can with the rest of the time, and then we continue again on August 15. So the first thing is customer focus. In our company, we define company focus as the ability to proactively sense and take action on customer needs and opportunities, the willingness to exceed customer expectation. So this is of course a very critical competency. As you've seen from the job description and from what I described to you, your job is actually quite challenging. You have so many. You look after the officers, you have to look after administration, temporary staff, handle some union matters, disciplinary action, and so on. So actually, it's quite a challenging job, and you need to really be able to focus on customers to do your job well. So give me an example when you had to satisfy a particular customer or client. So give an example in your own history and your own experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, when you say client and customer, I will assume I'm actually talking about a staff.
Internal customer.
Yeah, in HR, we service internal clients,
right.
sort of. And it's not easy because a lot of times we don't get recognition in return when you try to satisfy our internal clients or internal staff. Giving an example of one of the incident that me think. For example, I work very closely with some of the stakeholders, like the managing director of each of the offices, and they come in different personalities. So a lot of time as HR, we do our due diligence and try our very best to assist them as a business partner. But I would say that when things goes right, no thank you. But when things goes wrong, you get all the blame. It's always the HR fault. And a lot of times, because of this tight environment, it's difficult for us to get headcount approval so that we can do all the hiring. And that is where the conflicts always come when, I know the business required for the headcount, but, from the global perspective, finance perspective, and even HR perspective, a lot of times we are not able to give the support and approval, and that's where I find it very challenging sometimes working with them. They do not understand where we are coming from. But again, being a HR, we try to go for win-win situations, and we try to our very best to help and see if, let's say, I don't have this account, what else can I do for them? Yeah, can we hire a contractor? Can we hire a freelancer just to do the job?
Okay. And give me an example where you put a customer first. How was this seen by others, and what impact and what sacrifice you have to make? I mean, you mentioned some of the challenges you face. For example, lack of staff, lack of resources. But give me one example where you put a customer first and you make sacrifices or adjustment to be able to satisfy him or her.
I mean, the thing is, I go against the policy. I mean, we are in a very big holding company. By right, we shouldn't. I put my head on the chopping board because I feel that I can justify the need to hire the person to come in. It's an investment hire. And to me, we will see the return in 3 months, 6 months down the road. So if the company wants to be sticky about the policy, I'm sure that they will understand where I'm coming from. So I actually put myself out for the client, and hopefully that they understand, it's actually very stringent in terms of holding company and the stringent policy that we have in place. And they will appreciate we have doing for them.
So basically, you took risks and you stick your head out.
Yes.
And did your customer show appreciation?
Yes. When the person is being hired, she understands that by right we should not be going against the policy, but and help her in a way that I manage even our CFO to get him to support me.
Okay.
In such decisions.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. So tell me, do you have one time where you did something beyond your call and the customer complimented you or gave you some nice feedback?
Beyond my call, absolutely. I would say that almost every time we are doing that beyond our call and beyond what we are supposed to do. There was once I was very sick and I was in a hospital bed, but I know that this stakeholder, she needed something, put out the salary review, a counter offer for one of the employees. I literally have to get my family to bring a computer to the hospital for me to do all this arrangement in order for her to make the counter offer. And the next day she was very appreciative.
Wow, that's amazing. When can you start work?
If you offer me the job.
No, just kidding. As I said, I still need to complete another 3 competencies with you, but we won't do it today because of the time limit. To be fair to you, I don't want you to rush through. So on the August 15th, we will arrange another time just like this, and then I will ask you more questions on the other 3 competencies. So thank you so much for your time today to go through this interview with me. As I said earlier on, the next step of this is on the 15th August, we will have another interview, and then by the end of August, you will be informed of whether you are successful or not in the job, and then arrangements will then be made for you to join us if you are successful, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.
And we'll speak to you. I'll speak with you again on August 15th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.